Why we think our English is good when it's not. Have you ever met someone who thought their English was perfect until they spoke to a native speaker? I once had a student like that. He walked into my class with confidence so high as it could light up the whole room. He said, "Teacher, my English very good." I smiled and said, "Let's see." He read a short passage and pronounced the word comfortable as comfortable. When I gently corrected him, he looked surprised and said, "Really? I have always said it that way." I laughed softly because I understood that feeling. Years ago, I was that person too. I believed I was fluent. I thought I could talk to anyone in the world. But one day, a British man asked me for directions and I froze. My brain forgot every word I had learned. That was the moment I realized something important. Confidence does not always mean competence. Welcome to Learn English Listening. I am Lydia, and this is where we learn English not only through words, but through self-awareness and growth. Here we speak honestly about the struggles of learning, the small victories, and the moments we discover our hidden mistakes. Tell me where you are watching from right now. Are you listening in the morning, afternoon, or late at night? I would love to know because the time of day you choose to learn says something about your heart. Today, we will explore a strange psychology that affects almost everyone who studies English. It is the reason we sometimes feel proud before we are ready. It is the reason we believe we are good when we are only beginning. It is called the Dunning-Kruger Effect, and once you understand it, you will never look at your learning the same way again. Maybe you have been studying English for years. You can watch movies without subtitles and think, "Wow, I am fluent now." But then a native speaker asks you a simple question. Suddenly, your mind goes blank. You search for words that hide somewhere behind the noise of your confidence. This is not because you are lazy or untalented. It is because of something your brain does to protect your pride. When we know just a little, our confidence rises fast. We think, "I got this." But the truth is, we have only seen the surface of a deep ocean. Have you ever had a moment when you realized your English was not as strong as you thought? Maybe you wrote an email and later found 10 small mistakes. Maybe you tried to explain an idea and saw confusion in the other person's eyes. Those moments hurt, but they are not your enemy. They are your teachers. I remember my first week in London. I was so excited to finally use my English outside the classroom. I asked someone, "Can you borrow me a pen?" The man smiled kindly and said, "You mean lend you a pen." My face turned red, but he was gentle. That was my first real lesson in humility. The Dunning-Kruger effect explains this perfectly. When people are not yet skilled, they do not know enough to see their mistakes. Their brain says, "You are doing great," and they believe it. But when they start to learn more, they suddenly see how much they have missed. That moment can be painful, but it is also beautiful. Because awareness means growth. So if you have felt that sting of surprise, take it as a sign. You are waking up to real learning. Many years ago, two researchers, David Dunning and Justin Kruger, asked a group of students to take simple tests about logic, grammar, and humor. After finishing, the students had to guess how well they performed. The results were surprising. The lowest scores believed they were among the best. The top scorers thought they were average. This study revealed something universal. The less we know, the more we think we know. The more we learn, the more humble we become. You might see this in your own English journey. A beginner says, "English is easy." An advanced learner whispers, "There is still so much I do not understand." That shift from pride to awareness is what transforms a student into a master. There are a few phrases in English that capture this truth. The first is to overestimate oneself. It means to believe you are better at something than you really are. The second is a reality check. It is the moment that opens your eyes. The third is a blind spot. It is something you cannot see about yourself until someone shows you. I once experienced my own reality check. I was recording an English lesson and decided to listen again. To my shock, I heard myself mispronounce several words I had been teaching for years. I laughed and said out loud, "Lydia, you still have work to do." That moment humbled me, but it also renewed my motivation. Have you ever listened to your own English voice and felt surprised? It is not a reason for shame. It is a doorway to growth. Each time you discover a mistake, you become wiser than the person you were yesterday. And that is what learning truly means. The Dunning-Kruger effect is not a curse. It is a mirror that shows where we still need to grow. When I realized how often I mispronounced words, I could have felt embarrassed and stopped teaching. But instead, I decided to start again with honesty. I repeated every word until my mouth learned new shapes. Each sound became a small victory. Each correction, a seed of confidence that was real, not imagined. There are two English phrases that describe this moment. The first is, to eat humble pie. It means to admit you were wrong, but in doing so, you gain wisdom. The second is to level up. It means to rise to a higher stage of skill and awareness. Every learner goes through this. You eat humble pie when you face your errors. Then you level up when you practice again with clearer eyes. I remember one night when I was practicing the word comfortable again and again until I could say it smoothly. My roommate laughed and said, "Are you rehearsing for a spelling bee?" I smiled and replied, "No, I am rehearsing for confidence." If you could level up one skill this month, what would it be? Would it be speaking with more natural rhythm, listening without subtitles, or maybe gaining the courage to talk to strangers in English? Think about it for a moment. Admitting what we do not know is not failure. It is freedom. When you stop pretending to be perfect, you make space to truly learn. That is the quiet power of humility. It transforms embarrassment into energy. It turns frustration into focus. So next time you notice your weakness, smile and say, "Here comes my next level." Learning English is like polishing glass. At first, you only see your reflection. You think you already shine enough. But as you keep polishing, you begin to see through it. You start noticing colors, meanings, and connections you never saw before. The act of learning is not about proving how good you are. It is about clearing the dust of pride so that understanding can pass through you. Mistakes are not enemies. They are old friends trying to teach you patience. Every time you mispronounce a word, forget a tense, or lose confidence in a conversation, you are collecting experience. Each stumble is a quiet teacher. Mistakes are mirrors, not monsters. They show you exactly where to grow next. So instead of running from them, try to thank them. Write one English mistake that taught you the most in the comments. It might help someone else who feels embarrassed about their journey. Your honesty can become their courage. The goal of learning English is not perfection. It is awareness. It is knowing that every time you learn a new phrase or correct a small habit, you are shaping your character. You are teaching your mind how to stay humble and curious in a world that moves too fast. Maybe the smartest learners are not the ones who know the most. They are the ones who stay curious, humble, and open. They do not rush to show off what they know. They take a breath, listen carefully, and keep learning every day. So here we stand at the quiet crossroad between comfort and growth. One path feels safe. It says, I already know enough. The other path feels uncertain. It whispers, there is more to discover. Which path will you take? If this message reminded you of your own English journey, write the words humble learner in the comments. Let us see how many of us are walking this path together. You will be surprised how many people around the world feel exactly like you. If this story touched you, share it with a friend who is learning English too. Maybe they need this gentle reminder that it is okay not to be perfect. Thank you for listening with your heart. Keep walking with us here on Learn English Listening, where every word is a step toward confidence, and every mistake is proof that you are still growing.